when I was thinking of the theme this evening, the right words, I found a story in this book, Beside Still Waters, I'd like to share with you. Years ago, rural roads were unpaved and often muddy. Years ago, it's pretty current. But in one county, the officials devised a plan to improve matters by regrading the roads and spreading gravel. And so the surveyors marked the new bed with wooden sticks. It happened that along one road, the marker sticks ran past a farm. The farm was the home of curious little fellows who were eager to investigate anything new. Of course, they discovered the markers, which were the perfect size for many things, teepees, bows, arrows. So they pulled up many of the sticks along the road in front of their property. Their father was not too pleased when he discovered their treasures, and he firmly reprimanded them for pulling up the sticks. The next morning, a father and two humble little boys walked out to talk with the surveyor. The boys confessed their misdeed and waited uneasily for Mr. Surveyor's response. But to their surprise, the man was smiling. He knelt, put his arms around the two boys and said, "I was a little boy too one day." That was all he said. The two little men are grown up today, but they've never forgotten the surveyor's words. The right words can make our day. When we walk into a room and someone says to us, "Welcome," we're really glad to see you. It lifts us up. When somebody says, "You're the best," it kind of melts your heart. When we hear the words, "Good job," it makes us want to do it again. And when we hear, "I forgive you," we know that we too need to forgive others, and we're happy to be forgiven. Three little words that everybody wants to hear, that children need to hear over and over and over again, that spouses need to hear over and over again, that friends need to hear over and over again. I love you. I really, truly love you. Sometimes we may not like the person at the time, but we can still love them dearly. And sometimes all a friend needs to hear is, "I'm right here." When somebody's going through a tough time, I'm right here. Sometimes that's all you need to say, is just to be there and listen. Or how about, "Congratulations! I know you could do it." Or "Way to go!" These are all words that lift us up. There's a song on the country charts right now about "She has a way with words," but those are harmful words, they're hurting words. And it's important we use the right words, the words to lift us, to bring us to the point where we want to go further and faster and harder. "Well done. Well done." And sometimes we need to hear these words, "Let me help you." We're trying to carry heavy, heavy bags somewhere and somebody says, "Let me help you." We are very grateful to them to take the load out of our hands. Or if we need some help. Sometime we're trying desperately to do something and we just can't do it. "Let me help you" is there for us. Or I'd be glad to do that when we ask someone if they can help us for something. These are words that also touch our heart. "I missed you. I'm so happy to see you." And I love this one. "Would you like to go out for dinner?" This one makes me smile all the time when I hear it. And those of you who are around in the 60s may have seen these words many times. "Peace," "love," because those were big words from the 60s, and they are still big words today. They are still words, they are still the right words. They are still the words that we need to hear and that we need to say. So that is our theme for tonight, the right words. And I hope that you'll have the opportunity to say some of these words and to hear some of these words within our meeting this evening perhaps, or perhaps when you are with your family members out and about in the community. So that is our theme for this evening, the right words. And each week we have a word of the week. And tonight's word of the week is going to be presented by Lynn Cobus. So please help me welcome Lynn.
Madam Toastmaster and members, the word that I chose for tonight is epilogue. It can also be spelled without the UE on the end, but it does look nicer with the UE. And an epilogue is a chapter at the end of a work of literature which concludes the work. Now the epilogue, it's opposite of prologue. And prologue is a piece of writing at the beginning of a literary work. I'm sure you've all seen novels that have a prologue and an epilogue. Now an epilogue is different from an afterword. An epilogue is part of the main story occurring after the climax and revealing the fates of the characters. It may be set a few hours later or far in the future, where the writer speaks to the readers indirectly through the point of view of a different character. In an afterword, the author speaks to the readers directly. In the afterword, the writer may provide a reason for writing the book and detail the research that has gone into writing the book. So big difference. Now the functions of an epilogue: to satisfy the reader's curiosity by telling them the fate of the characters after the climax of the story, to cover loose ends of the story, and to hint at a sequel or a next installment of the story. So tonight's word is epilogue. If you can use the word, we'll knock 3 times on the table when we hear it.
At Toastmasters, we use a lot of words. We use words in our speeches, we use words in our evaluations, we use words in our Quizmaster, our grammarian awe counter. So I would like to propose a toast this evening to good words, useful words, helpful words, and not harmful words. To good words.
To good words.
Good words.